and grandma. Okay, do I start again?
Yes, I think.
Okay. So good evening, everyone, and welcome to International Storytellers Fest. It's indeed a privilege to introduce myself, Christine DeCosta, the founder of Morning Star Pre-Primary School, CESA Academy, an educator for almost a decade, a preschool owner, and a woman entrepreneur. For me, to teach is to touch lives forever. I'm grateful to Professor Rachana to give me this beautiful platform to connect with wonderful minds, beautiful souls who are the lighthouse for stories. So welcome everyone. Warm greetings. Namaste. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon to this august audience. It's indeed a privilege and pleasure to be around such dignified stalwarts in education. A child at the onset is told numerous tales by who? Grandma and grandpa. They are the foundation of culture and language. Have you ever thought this? Yes, it is stories that dispel, put in a lot of things. You're never going to kill storytelling because it's inbuilt in the human plan. We come with it. Margaret Atwood. So today is a beautiful day, and I'd like to introduce our wonderful person who has put all this together. Platform is because of our great stalwart, Professor Rachana. She is an educator with 26 years of experience. She's associated with grooming students of various age. She's a catalyst in transforming students' lives. I believe we all educators are catalysts. She's a counselor, international speaker, social activist, conducting numerous workshops on public speaking. She's working as a deputy chief moderator of Maharashtra State Board, also co-authored course books for State Board, authored several books for all age groups. She's been awarded awards at national and international forums for her blogging and philanthropic work. The founder of CVMD, a group which works for emotional empowerment of women, and also a writing platform which encourages young writers to outbox their writing dreams. Let's give a round of applause for her. So yes, we as educators are all catalysts, bringing together some little thing that we want to give to the world, to touch, to inspire, to bring about a dynamic process in education. And we have with us today wonderful speakers from all over the globe. We are 16 of us who are going to tell us the power of stories. As I always say, I love stories because they are the foundation of language. If there weren't any stories, there won't be anybody around us. You wouldn't know culture. You wouldn't know anything. You wouldn't know your ancestors too. It is one story from another, and that's how life is passed on. It's beautiful. So yes, we're going to share a small little presentation about the entire storytelling process. So are you ready to share, Rachna ma'am?
Just a second.
Let's put our hands together, our ears, and listen to this International Storytelling Fest. Creative Writing Modern Age Presentation by CWMA. A great initiative. Can we make it full screen? Yes.
Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Jungle. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
So that was wonderful, incredible. Yes, our lovely stalwarts are going to share about storytelling. So we all are a little lighthouse. We want to give something. I remember when I started storytelling in our preschool, it was so beautiful. Children learned language. I come from India and English is not the first language. We all struggle with learning English. So as children, when they started developing language because of the story curriculum, we felt the need for stories. So how much a little story can do? Linguistic development, values, culture, and so many more, which is going to be told by our stalwarts. So the first participant for today is our lovely Hadrina Diana from Romania. She would be sharing about the power of storytelling. So let's give a round of applause for Hadrina Diana from Romania. So welcome, ma'am, and we are really waiting to listen to these pearls of, storytelling and how do you conduct it in your country. Can we spotlight her?
Okay. Hi, thank you for this invitation. I'm again virtual in India. It's an honor for me to be here today again. Thanks, dear Rachna ma'am, and thanks, Christine ma'am. So my name is Diana, and I'm teacher in Romania. I'm international teacher speaker. I'm also book writer, and I coordinate so many books, international books and national books for children and for teachers. And I'm also international project coordinator. I teach in a primary school. My children are so small, 8 years old. So it's the time for stories for them. They like so much to listen the stories and to read because they can read. I give them the opportunity to read, to know the stories. The stories will change their life. I can share my screen.
Yes.
For my presentation.
Yes, you can.
Yes, it's okay now. I will share my screen. storytelling. Here is my picture and my name and my country, Romania. Stories are very important to us. Stories play an important role in a child life. We, the teachers and the family, are the own who tell the children stories. We read them books about nature, about animals, about fantastic characters. Stories help children intellectual development. The stories help the development of the imagination. Stories help fight stress. The stories create a moment of relaxation for us and for children. The stories we hear in childhood shape our worldwide. Most young children live their lives in a fairly limited environment. Reading stories can show children faraway places, extraordinary people, and situations that will open their eyes to expand and enrich their world. Stories or narratives have been shared in every culture as a means of entertainment, education, culture, presentation, and instilling moral values. The stories we hear is the next. Children who are read regularly find it easier to understand other people. They show more empathy and have a better development minds. The ability to understand that others have truth and feelings different from us is essential for understanding and predicting other people's thought and behavior. Story is a powerful tool, a means of sharing experience of knowledge. It is one of the way we learn. The stories in life of children. We live in the world of stories. Children live in the world of stories. Story is important to children around the world. The characters in the stories will be good examples for children, for our children. The stories will have a moral from which children will learn something. Stories develop children affectivities, imagination, their things, their creativity. The stories will signify a strong bond between children and parents and between children and teachers. Our duty of parents and from teachers is to tell them stories, so many stories. They must be taught to love stories. The stories will teach children to create their own stories.
5%. Why?
What the
I put it
benefit
on all
do
night.
I get
How can I
from
charge you again?
stories? I personally, the stories made me develop my culture. They
Yes.
made me become a
Know how to kill
person
him.
with intelligence, with imagination. The book developed me. The stories give me the power to write books. I become a book writer. I coordinate also so many books. Now, in this moment, in this summer, I'm writing a short story. The title, the topic will be The Image in the Mirror. The stories give me confidence in myself. The story developed my imagination and my creativity. We must encourage children to read stories. I encourage my children to read in my class. There are my children, they read, and after they talk and speak about what they read, about the stories. The story brought me close to you today also, my dear friends from all over the world. Thank you so much.
So big round of applause for Diana. Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much for sharing your insights about stories. Stories bring out experience, empathy, invest in imagination, creativity. We live in stories, and we should encourage children to narrate, to write stories. And thank you for sharing your journey of being a writer because of reading. So we are all
Thank you.
looking forward to have your book image in the mirror and your story. So big round of applause for you and all the little things that you are doing as an educator to stir imagination, creativity, and bring in the lost culture of books and reading. It's become so ebook and so tech savvy that we're losing the entire material of catching tactile, holding a book and reading. So thank you for bringing that and sharing those lovely images of children in Romania who are reading stories. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
So we have
Can we
one.
stop the screen sharing, Diana ma'am?
Yeah, you can
Okay.
stop the screen sharing. Our next eminent speaker is Tony Craston from England. And he also would be sharing on the power of storytelling and telling us more how it's been happening in his country and with his students. So we are all excited to hear from you, sir. You're on mute, sir. No, you're still on mute.
Okay, try now.
Yes, you're audible. You can go ahead.
Good, I'm audible. That's good. That's a problem I have at schools too. Can you hear me?
Am I audible? Am I audible is the first question. So when we go into the offline mode, also the first thing I will say, am I audible? And they're like, no, ma'am, you're in class. And I'll be, oh, I'm sorry. I thought I was on a Zoom meeting. So Zoom has made us that.
I want to talk about, well, I want to borrow a line from what your previous speakers just been saying about how we learned stories from our parents and grandparents, and they took us to new places and different parts of the world and new cultures and all of those things. And that has to be what happened to me, because when I was young, I would listen to stories from my parents about the good old days. And I would hear stories from even further back from my grandparents, who were, their whole lifestyle seemed to be a story. But my father was in the Royal Navy for 10 years, and he traveled around the world, and he had stories from all over the world. And in 1969, that was quite a while ago, I started to travel the world. I did, firstly very roughly, but later in five-star hotels. And I've been traveling the world ever since. Somehow, 30 years ago, after all the things I've done in my life, I've been teaching yoga and Tai Chi for 45 years. And I didn't realize that it was because of my voice and the stories that I told that people kept coming back to the classes. I didn't know this at first. Anyway, I became a storyteller and decided to start traveling around the world, writing, collecting, telling stories, which is a dream come true. And I wanted to go to places that I might not normally go to. In France, you might go to Paris or somewhere, but I could go to places that no one had thought about going, just because I was invited there to go and tell a story. And I saw real France and real French and real French stories, collecting them all. But then after a lot of years of that, I stepped out slightly and got myself a career for about 4 years in public relations and marketing. And that's where they tell stories for knowledge, wisdom, happiness, intimidation, propaganda, disinformation. They tell these stories to match whatever the client wants. If you ask yourself, every time you hear some news item on the television, or every time someone comes to you and says, in my opinion, then you can automatically look behind their mask, behind their eyes, and see what their opinion is and where they got their opinion from. I have often heard people say, in my opinion, but I just know that that opinion was the one that was expressed on the news the night before. The news being one of the greatest public opinion formers there are, telling you stories. So you can often see behind them. And I became a corporate public relations consultant. I didn't want to do that, but I just ended up doing it because I was good at telling stories. They put me into all of these things. And my job was to write what if scenarios, stories. What happens if an airplane goes missing on the way from Australia to London, last seen over the Philippines? What would I do first, second, third? Who would I talk to? Which person would I phone in the newspaper? Which television person can I get on my side? Which expert can I get to endorse a product? Which celebrity can I get to endorse a product? Which online blogger or YouTuber could I call? I would know the lists of all of these people and call them and get them to tell my story for my client. These things are already written in advance. It's the same techniques, the same stories, or that I sold for hundreds of thousands of pounds and are used time after time after time after time. The role is ridiculously high paid, but I turned my back on all of that again and became a full-time storyteller. I gave up all of that money and became a poor, wandering around the world, writing, collecting, telling stories to people, and fronting, talking stories, the radio program on East London Radio. Um, and now I'm retired, I'm busier than ever. I get to tell stories now, and I get to present stories without any agenda behind them, just for the sheer joy of telling the story and being part of an art form that's been around as long as there's been people. As long as there's been people, there's been someone there to tell the stories of those people. And I get to encourage other people to tell those stories too, especially younger people all the time. And I think this is a great thing to be, because it's taken me to, well, I've counted them up over the years. I've been to 72 towns and cities outside of the UK, my home base. I've been to a lot more here, working, telling stories, living there for a while. I lived in the Netherlands, I lived in America. I'm coming to India one day. I lived in China, always telling stories. And working with those storytellers and working with those poets that I met too, telling stories and learning more from them and why they do it. We all have the same idea. We think that, well, as I say on the radio program, as we rush into this 21st science fiction century of ours, where all the science fiction movies of going to the Mars and living on the moon will all come true, we need something older, something a little bit more connected to our soul, if you like. We need something deeper there connected to that. Otherwise, things are going to get lost. We need that. And stories and storytellers do that. Indeed, storytelling is not a wishy-washy thing to do. It is a very good career. It is a very good thing to do as a human being, to be a storyteller and tell stories. It not only educates, it enlivens, it enriches the culture, it brings us in contact with people, it does so much. It is, well, the soul places storytellers high, high, high among sages and philosophers. And this is true. And I'm glad to be part of that. In the end, God is going to ask us to questions. 1, are you happy with the story of your life? 2, are you happy with your part in other people's story? Can I tell you a story to finish? Short one?
Yes, yes, you
I
can
tell
go
you,
ahead.
I tell you a very short story. There are some things you never want to see or hear. A young girl is given a porcelain rabbit as a gift. She loved the porcelain rabbit, and the porcelain rabbit fell in love with the girl. And throughout the years, they rolled through their life together until one day, the young girl grows old and dies. There are some things you never want to see, he thought. There are some things you never want to hear. Like the moment she held out her hand to him as the last thing she wanted to see, last thing she wanted to hold in this life before she left it. The end. And that's what stories can do. They can reach deep inside you and make you think and take you to places. And not long ago, I was in a school all day telling stories, and children from 5 years old to 11 years old, and they were such wild apart what they wanted for stories. And I was there doing 6 hours a day for 2 days. It was marvelous. They wanted long stories, and they wanted crime stories. Crime stories. That's a new one.
That's incredible. Thank you, Sir Tony, for that. You know, what stories do. They enrich, they pass empathy and their lives. So it's very beautiful that our grandparents tell us stories, and you and me share the same thing. I grew up listening to this story ample amount of times of the musician of Bremen, and every time the animals would change, and the voice modulation. Today I can modulate my voices because of my grandpa. I used to be sitting on his lap. I come from my grandpa was an Anglo-Indian, and I used to be sitting on his lap in Jharkhand, and he would be telling me the story of the musician of Bremen. And every time there was a different animal, and there were different sounds. So that was my core of storytelling. And indeed, I could so relate and so resonate with you. Travel to places, and eventually you had to throw everything to be a storyteller. You gave it up because of the love to heal your inner core, your inner child had to come out for the world to transform. And we are glad that you did it because you are transferring one soul at a time. And indeed, stories have a magical effect, a power to heal, a power to make a difference. And that's what a story does. I believe even our inner core becomes stronger with a story. And indeed, there's lots to learn from a storyteller. It's such a rewarding career. So, yes, at the end of the year or at the end of our life's journey, we need to ask ourselves, even at the end of a year or end of a month, we need to ask ourselves, are we happy with our part? And the answer will resonate with what we have done. So thank you, sir, for that incredible pearls of wisdom. And yes, I have been in total awe of your travel journey and your entire career. Learned so much from you. We have a small presentation of creative writing modern age. That's the full form of CWMA, where I didn't introduce that, so I'm introducing this now. So we have a small presentation about it, and we are going to watch it. So are we ready to see this? Incredible.
Mm.
So, creative writing modern age has really done wonderful things. Chosen One, Life Talks, Jingle Mingle. I love the titles. It's so incredible. And this is indeed the founder's little pearls of wisdom and her little lovely names, modern words and stress sessions and motivation. I loved everything. Amazing work done by you, Professor Rachna. Great indeed. Global cleanup. Great. Lovely initiative. I wish we could also partner together once with our little ones. Indeed. Wonderful. Yes, so our next wonderful speaker is from my country. So I'm going to cheer. I cheered for all. I'm going to clap for all also, but I'm going to cheer for you also a little louder and we can do the namaste clap. Okay, I'm going to show you the namaste clap. It's like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, I am a preschool educator and teacher trainer. So I'll have all these kinds of jingle and wingle with me around because then otherwise all of you will sleep. It's all the inner child in us needs to be happy. And for the rest of them, I'm going to give you all a roller coaster clap who finish with their sessions. So the roller coaster clap goes like this. So this is for Tony sir and Diana. Yes, it goes like this. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Wonderful. Yeah. So yes, Ramendra, so we want to hear more from you. about the power of storytelling and how you've been igniting lives and transforming lives through stories. So the platform is all yours.
Thank you for the wonderful, wonderful, how should I say, opening. Uh, we are all stories. We know that. So let me tell you the story I've been living through. And right now I'm living. Let me begin with a flashback. My wife and I took voluntary retirement. We were working in Rourkela steel plant and came to Bangalore, where my children are working, So this was in January 2021. And for 10 months, I had a blast. Storytelling sessions, including the one on this lovely, lovely platform, webinars and what should I say, workshops. 2 books of mine were released. Then on 29th November, 10 months after I landed in Bangalore, I was slammed by cancer. The diagnosis was that I'm still suffering from stage 2 colon cancer. The doctor said that I have to be, there are as many polyps in my colon as there are criminals in Indian politics, So I have to be decolonized. I have to gain independence, But this is one kind of independence I really wouldn't like. My colon would be cut off. I would have to go through radiation and chemo and couple of or more than a couple of major surgeries, and there would be a major change in my lifestyle. I was shell shocked. I raved and ranted. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I'm slim and trim, I exercise, I don't eat red meat. Then why me? Poor me. How come me? And there, sitting in the canteen of the hospital, as I cut loose with anger, frustration, angst, and a bit of tears, I saw my families sitting around me, my daughter, my wife, and my son, their faces crumple. And I knew that I couldn't do this. I had to change the narrative. They don't deserve this. And I decided, as an inspirational speaker, as a storyteller, I had to change my story. So what did I do? And the reason I had to do this was because I've had a really, really tough life. At the age of 15, my mother left home. So I'm from a broken home, a divorced home. And a year later, I survived a suicide attempt. I have brittle diabetes. I carry an insulin pump along with me. Brittle diabetes is extreme from from the lowest to the highest. So I've got 2 permanent attachments, the insulin pump and my gorgeous wife. I suffered from silent thyroiditis, which is again from one extreme to the other. In 2015, I had a polyp growing in one of the blood vessels close to the vocal cords, and I started losing my power of speech. My wife was ecstatic with joy. What she couldn't achieve in 27 years then, the hemangioma, as it was called, had achieved in 27 weeks or less. So I was rushed to Hyderabad from Rourkela. Surgery was performed. Luckily, I survived the surgery, which was rather critical. So I had been fighting all these odds with my single one-line mantra of managing every tumor with humor. And I was going to do exactly that. So after 2 rounds of radiation, my daughter and I created a dance video, and it went viral. Even now it's trending at 232K. And I participated in webinars and sessions and all. And I flooded the social media with positive messages. And the response from my friends, fans, and followers, a few that I have, was humongous. And social media was filled with positive messages. I cannot tell you, there was a man who's on the day of my major surgery, he went on a fast. Can you believe that? I had people went to temples for praying. They offered dua in masjid, prayers in churches and gurudwaras, incantations, mantras. One of my friends called me Ramin Sher Khan, means Ramin the tiger. I said, I'm a scaredy cat at home in front of my wife and you're calling me a tiger. What fun, And recently, a writer friend of mine compared my response to that of Rafael Nadal when he was, when he was facing that abdomen injury, and he was out of Wimbledon. And these kind of positive responses built my inner strength. And I decided that whatever happens, I'm going to fight this cancer, this scourge, which was in the process of almost eliminating me. I would like to share that right now I've gone through 4 septic shocks. Each septic shock has a probability of only 20% survival. I survived 4 septic shocks. I survived 4 major surgeries running into 6 to 7 hours, 5 rounds of radiation, 4 rounds of chemo. The 5th round of chemo is right now happening to me as I sit and chat with you. I survived 40 days continually in ICU. I survived a weight loss of 17 kg. I went to the door of death 4 times, knocked, and came back. How did all this happen? This happened because of the power of stories and the power of storytelling. The story, the narrative I had built around me absolutely had a cascading effect from all across social media, online, offline, messages. Rachna was in touch with me. Tony was in touch with me. Veena was in touch with me with such lovely messages of love, concern, prayers, blessings. And I knew that cancer or cancer's grandpa can't touch me. I will bounce back. And this, my dear friends, is the power of stories and the power of storytelling. I'll just read out a poem to you, which is my story. It's called The Cancer Warriors, and I address it to all of you because you've been with me in this journey of tribulation, trials, and trauma. The Cancer Warriors. As I stumbled through the dark night with not a shard in sight, the black became blacker, the night a darker night. I had plunged into despair from a state of happiest high, fighting a malady that was smothering my every sigh. Why me? Poor me? I raved and ranted. Then I saw 3 anxious faces, the look in their eyes so haunted. I decided to fight the curse, slam the damn tumor with my precious weapons of fun, musty, and humor. My 2 hearts ensnared me in a web of optimism and love. It was as if 3 amazing angels had descended from the heavens above. Now sheathed in their empathy and cloaked in their affection, I can fight any malady, battle the worst affliction. Tons of heartwarming messages from friends, followers, and fans have been like myriad oases in arid desert sands. These zillion tiny rainbows have caressed my soul, helping me march towards my only goal. These zillion march towards my only goal. No cancer can beat me, no malady can crush. When I have the invincible army of you, me, and us. I'm not a cancer survivor. You're not a cancer warrior. Each one of us is simply a cancer warrior. I'm not a cancer survivor. You're not a cancer savior. Each one of us is simply a cancer warrior. Namaste.
Incredible, astonishing salute to you and your perseverance. So that is the power of storytelling. It was so cathartic. It was so from the inner core. Nothing was made up. It was as crystal clear. And that is what stories do to us. They make us a fighter. They have a cathartic effect. If he can fight it, why can't I? He gives that strong message to each one of us. I did it with the support of you and us. We all can do it. And I really love that line of yours, a tumor with a humor. Wow, amazing. You're so good with words. That is the core of a good reader, a writer. And you fought it because of the game of words. You are a king of words, and you will inspire generations around you because of the power of words. The power of the pen is mightier than the sword. We can see this example, and that's what stories do to us. Our stories are filled with leadership, motivation. Quit if you want, but take a pause before you quit. Think, reflect, introspect, and then you see there's magic awaiting. Wonderful. I really love the humor, the satire, the irony. I don't know how many things you interlocked in your entire beautiful narrative. I was in awe of it. And yes, you gave us a very strong message. Never give up. I have a short story. Can I just share a short story, Rachna ma'am? Yeah, it's just a 1 minute story. Father and mother and child. The mother and the son were in the kitchen doing the dishes, whereas the father and daughter were watching TV. Suddenly there was a cracking of sound in the kitchen, and the daughter said, and there was a silence in the house. Yet, after 2 minutes, again there was a silence. And then the daughter, in a very humorous way, told the father, "This must be mum." The father smiled and smirked. "Why do you think it's mum?" "Because nobody was yelled at. If it wasn't mum, there would have been nice thunderstorms coming out from the kitchen. But there was nothing." This small story too has a message. I'll leave it up to you, the open forum. One message that I'll give you is, we are quick to judge. We are quick to find faults in others. But when it comes to us, we zip. So that's the power of storytelling. I mean, I just shared it because I was so inspired by you, sir. And indeed, you are not a survivor, but a warrior, a conqueror. You came, you saw, and you conquered. I'd say, like Alexander. So thank you. And we introduce our next speaker. Our wonderful speaker for today is Professor Nada. I have met her on many occasions, and she is so vibrant, so dynamic, and she is really close to me. We've met. Is she there, Professor Nada? Is she there around?
I'll just take a look. She was there.
She was there, no?
Yeah, I too saw her. Nada ma'am,
Yeah.
are you there?
Nada? Professor Nada? Okay, we take the next one, no problem. I think
Yes, we'll go to the next one.
yeah, this is Zoom and little Wi-Fi playing their little naughty tricks on us. So we go to the next one. So are you ready? The next speaker, Anya Sahu from Netherlands. See if I mispronounce your name. I'm so sorry. They are proper nouns. So just pardon me and a big namaste from India. Okay. So Anya from Netherlands. Oh, you look so young and so pretty. Oh, so the stage is all yours, and we are waiting to listen from someone who is so young. Go ahead. Who
Thank you.
has lots to
Greetings.
offer.
Greetings, everyone. Thank you. It's really a pleasure to join today, and my name was pronounced completely correct. So thank you so much for that as well. It's a really pleasure to join, and it was very interesting to listen about experience about storytelling and so on. And I'm not a professional storyteller, as I thought from I did not do professional one, but stories is something really which is so much entitled in our life. It's starting, as we said already today, from childhood, when you reading different books, and the most important that these books, they're allowing child to make own world. Because when you see something on TV or something, that's already someone created and you have that ready-made picture, so to say. But when kids or people, no matter what is the age, reading the books, reading the stories, it's really a possibility for every person to develop own imagination, but first of all, to develop own world, because we are understanding, I have a choice, I can choose which character I want to follow, how I want to make it. That's why stories, in fact, it's something which starts from childhood, but at the same time, it's something that is following our whole life. Because even if we are not writing professional stories, but we communicate, for example, when I also have experience in teaching and communicating with people. So every time you are saying some story, every time we are giving some information to each other. And behind every story, be it a book, be it a short story or simple message, there is always something what that person wants to say. And that's so much important, in fact, because we all kind of carrying responsibility, which message we are giving to the world, which message we are giving to people. who listen that. And sometimes very short story, it can really inspire to do more. And I think that's the beauty about any storytelling or about any passing information, that person who hear that, person who listen that, understand, I can do something more, I can do something better, and I can do something better for others as well. So I think that's that power which is there. And I would say that many years ago, I would be afraid to say some story in front of people, or like, for example, today I would be saying, oh, I don't know how to say, how to find the right words and so on. But thanks to volunteer activities, as you may know, I participate in the Creative Society project. And it's really that experience when you talk with people, you learn how to pass the message, you learn how to listen and how to observe people. Because first of all, I think everyone who is making stories, these are people who know how to see this world. They're people who are very accurate about details, about different patterns. And in such a way, in fact, we are learning. So I would like to say that stories, from one side, it's wonderful when you listen to stories, it's shaping our world, it's shaping role models which we see. And from another side, when we learn how to say stories, when we learn how to convey a message we want to say, that is wonderful experience because we learn how to reach every person's heart. We learn from everyone we meet. And that's, I would like to say, it's really power of storytelling, and that's something which every person do in daily life. And so important today to understand that I found out it for myself. I would say that the more we are saying about something, the more it's coming into our reality. That's why every story of every person, what message we pass, what we say, that's something which can become real for another person or for me tomorrow. That's why it's so important where we put this attention, what we talk about. And I'm really grateful to all people who also participate Creative Society project. That's people who learn how to do for others, how to inspire each other, and how together to build the world in which we want to live. And that really starts from talking about it, from saying these inspiring stories, from shaping the model, how we see that. And I'm really grateful to all our guests today, because it's wonderful to hear your experience. And for me, came more understanding that really storytelling, it's something that is following our whole life, and that is making the world we are living in. That starts from us, that starts from our message, from our experience. And we all know that people like to listen stories based on real facts, based on real experience, because then it's really something truthful, and that's something what we want to share with the world. So thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me to speak today. And it's really a pleasure, Rachna ma'am. Thank you for being, and thank you for organizing it. Thank you.
Thank you, Anya ma'am, for your wonderful message and insight on storytelling. And now we have our next participant, Professor Nada Razikova, all the way from Croatia. So the platform is all yours, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, dear Professor Rachana, for this kind invitation. Thank you, dear Christina. I'm really honored to be here today. Little problem with connection, so I hope that I will be here and speak. I'm very impressed by these stories I hear until now. Yes, every our life is a story, and we always have something to say. Even we think that we are talking and that it is not a story. Everything today is a story, but it is only the way how we are interpreting that. Because today I said to my colleagues also before I go home that I will be a guest speaker on a festival, international festival for the storytelling, and then I also say what will I speak. I make a little presentation because I'm coming here. I'm alone. I have my colleague from Europe, Diana. I'm coming from Croatia, and I want to show one story because we have different stories. We know that. So I was inspired by some things. Yesterday I have one story, but today I have another story. I was moderating a conference, and also I was a speaker, and the topic was really very important and very important for our future. Also because today our dear Dr. Raja gave us the opportunity to be on the Facebook, and Facebook is one part of that. Facebook is a meta and coming from the metaverse. So I have two samples. Ms. Chana, can I share my screen?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay. Okay. So So the topic is the power of the storytelling. We know that after eating our companies, the stories are all what we need today. I have a little poem here, but I will not read it now. So let's start storytelling. I will talk a little about the business storytelling and what it means. It means how to sell a business story. Why to sell a business story? Because we know today that it is very important for the business and also for branding something if we are in that part. And as before our speaker said, from our childhood, we are talking and giving our story, but we need to know that we have a big strength and power of every story. So we really need to think about that. What is that? Why is that? Why it is very important? Because why it is important, I will tell now that why it is important, because these stories are giving us our life. The stories are keeping us on our life. If we don't talk stories, we will not survive today in this very hard world. So what is the use of the business storytelling? We want to communicate today with everyone in the business. Many of us are also a part of the education field, but one of my subjects is also entrepreneurship, and I'm teaching my students how to become a good entrepreneur from the idea to realization. And I think that in each one subject, the students need to know that because they need to, because today it is very important how to survive. So how we are going to tell a story, how we will sell our story, that is really very important. I'm going to my story. I will not go through this theory. So here is the first story coming from Croatia. The power of produced storytelling affects women. You see this picture. You see I moved ahead of the men's, but you see that we have a shirt and also a detail called tie, on my language called cravata. Why I use this? Because the tie cravata is a Croatia brand, and it is our cultural heritage. And today we know that when the men are wearing a tie, they also with a tie they need a beautiful t-shirt. So how to sell a t-shirt without a tie? And Croatia brand really makes this, and this tie comes, it is really original our product. You see here Napoleon, he was wearing this piece of the textile, and today it is called tie and cravata. So what is a story of a shirt today? Uh, Croatia, my homeland, and we have so many. We are rich with our culture. We have a lot of beautiful cities, and we one of them is also a town called Dubrovnik, and Croatia wants to sell, and this brand placed on in Dubrovnik. But how can you confirm that Croatia shirt is the best? We want to say that our t-shirt is the best, and there is a great story and very significant. What it means here is the whole story. I will start from here. You see this, this is one of the 100, I can say now in the category of 10 of the 10 most beautiful cars. So first, that man is coming with a t-shirt in this car. And this is a road to a town, Dubrovnik. What is there necessary? He's going on the meeting. For the meeting, he needs a t-shirt. He in Dubrovnik. Dubrovnik is also rich with the culture, and for the organizing the conferences, and all the celebrities of the world is coming in this town. So to sell this t-shirt, this is a brand for Croatia. And we come to the storytelling theory. These four parts are very important: abstracting, reconstructing, futuring, and grounding. This story has all this. But for today, we we are all worried about our future and how to predict our future. For prediction of our future, the metaverse is today really important. It is a 3D generation innovation, and I can say it is a virtual reality. It is little different from the internet and Facebook. We know that the Facebook has a new meta, and that is a kind of a metaverse for the communication, for the corporation, for the work, and for selling. And today I show this example with a t-shirt, and it is now selling on this way. But yesterday we have a great personality. We have an amazing doctor, Professor Samir Mukherjee, who is making a story, and from his story comes a product called film. So he invites everyone to come in Dubai or virtual to be a part of this film festival. Why this example? Because the metaverse that comes from the novelists, from the people who were making stories, and were storytellers. Like the first novelist was Snow Crash, and he first mentioned this metaverse. And after this is a little he make a story using a very simple knowledge. He said you need a cloud which is based on the film. So why VR film? Why virtual reality? We know that all kids today are playing games, and the gamification is one part of their day. And this organizer for this festival, this Dr. Mukherjee is making this and want to show, because you see today the all award ceremonies, the all procedures, everything is coming from this, and it is very simple. You have a cloud, and then you can be at the same time in Korea, in China, in India, and he showed that in United Arabian Emirates, and how it is going, and what is the function, and what the jury are doing, and what can you do from India, what can I do from Croatia, and how to get that award. And the awards are what? The VR Film Festival. First, the film, and how can it's that if we don't go in live on that conference, how we will watch it? So he is going to submit his film in the cloud, then he's sending it to the jury. Jury is evaluating the film. After, the jury is returning back to another. The data, we have accumulation of data, getting a program. Program is finalizing, and we get the award data and get award ceremony. So really, life is a story. Today, we can learn a lot everywhere where we can come. I'm sure that today, after this festival, I will have a lot of stories, new stories to share. Already, what I hear, I'm sure that I will share. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, ma'am, for your wonderful message. It was indeed inspiring the way you talked about business storytelling, storytelling theory, and about VR. So thank you, ma'am, for your inspiring content. Now we have our next speaker, who is Dinah Bellerose, all the way from the USA. So the stage is all yours, ma'am.
Hello, everybody. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me. And it's my another virtual way of visiting India. So today I heard a lot of amazing stories, and most of the people, they kind of told a lot of ways of telling a story. So I'm gonna try to add something new to it, since I have written almost 7 books, and all of my books are based on my life, and these are stories from my life. And I wrote these books so I can help others, I can empower others, inspire others. The other way to help others and tell my story is when I am being invited a radio talk show where I had the opportunity to share my story. Not to mention, Rachna knows very well that I'm sharing my stories every day on all of my media places. And the purpose of sharing my story is to empower and inspire women and men that no matter what's going on in your life, there is a way out and you can cope, even in this turbulent time we live in. And as well as I create movies, I'm probably 67 times award-winning filmmaker. And most of my awards are coming from India. Thank you so much. Namaste. And the story I'm telling people is to tell them that everything that happens in your life has a purpose, and you just need to turn the sour stuff into sweet stuff by finding a lesson in the things that have the things that are happening in your life. And my struggles continue. I live my turbulent life here in Los Angeles, and I'm using every day all of my encounters again to empower and inspire people, to give them the power to cope with all the things that are happening in our life at this moment. And I'm using my stories as an example for everybody that all the things that are happening in your life are not going to stop you from moving further in your life and going after your dreams. And for example, I have been waiting to be on stage and sing. I have written 2 albums with songs which have a message behind it. And I started to sing on stage in June. My first live performance was on June 29. And again, this is a way for me to tell that the struggles, the blockages, everything that is happening in your life doesn't stop you from moving further and making a difference. At the same time, with all the stories you're telling with my books, I'm making difference in somebody's life. I'm giving them the power, I'm giving them the tools, I'm giving them everything what they need so they can believe in themselves, so they can learn that nothing can stop you as long as you have the desire to create life for yourself, and you can climb any wall that is being built on your way and jump over it and continue to go after what makes you happy, after what you would like to accomplish in this life. And storytelling, it's an amazing way to make a difference in the world, to make a difference in somebody's life, and to teach them how to navigate in this life and how to be able to go after their dreams, after their goals, and how to create life for themselves. And I have been reading stories since I was a child. My grandmother, my grandfather, my mother, I had a lot of love for reading books and for children's books. And I've been very curious, and I'm still very curious about a lot of things. And I would love, I like to learn. I like to communicate with people who are going to the different obstacles and get the information I need so it can help me in my life, and how to, and it helped me, and to help me how to find a way out, because in every situation there is a gap where you can find a way around, and you can as long as you are determined to turn your dreams again into reality, and to find a way out in any situation. So with my books, my first book is called Fire and Ice, and it's a book about my life, turbulent life, dealing with dealing with abuse, domestic violence. And with this book, the purpose of writing this book was to help other women and men dealing with the same situation. This was something that made me write this book. The second book is The Journey of Transformation. This is a book about asking yourself why you're not fit in the environment you're in, why you feel like you're different, and why you need to think about the things that are not serving your best purpose, why you feel lost, why you feel like you don't belong, and how to find a way to go deep inside yourself and ask yourself questions like, why I don't feel like I'm fitting in this company, why I feel like I'm a stranger. Is there something wrong here? Do I have to make some changes? And how thinking about your life and giving yourself the permission basically to be different than others can help you to find who you are as a person and where you belong and why you need to find another way to get out of this situation and find the people you belong to. We call them tribe of people with who you have a common language, with who you can be yourself, so you don't have to pretend to be somebody who you are not. So these are just some of the examples I can give you about my life. The other book is called The Light Within. It's very popular book all over the world. Is finding yourself and turning everything that has happened in your life into something beautiful and something that is gonna make a difference in somebody's life, and tell them that no matter what had happened in the past, you always can be a light. You can always find a way out of the situation. At the same time, giving them all the information necessary so they can continue their life, so they can continue to live in empowering way and find themselves again, because when you are in a very toxic situation, you lose yourself, you lose your self-esteem, and you lose everything of who you are as a person. So with this book, basically, I'm giving them everything what they need so they can build themselves from the bottom up and create a life that is going to help them heal and help them continue to live and pursue everything they didn't have opportunity, and create the life that is truly theirs, and at the same time be their authentic self, the one they have lost in situation where they're coming in a situation where they were with in a company or somebody who wanted them to be somebody that they're not. So storytelling is a great way, it's an amazing way to help others, to show them the way in life. Maybe they never thought there is this way, exactly how to navigate, what kind of tools to use, and to believe in themselves, which is really one of the most important thing, to believe in yourself first, so you can continue to live life that is truly yours, not what somebody else wants you to live or to be as a person. So basically, these are the things I want to share with you. And thank you so much for having me. It's absolutely amazing. Thank you, Rachna, for giving me this opportunity. And I hope this is going to help somebody and make a difference in somebody's life. At the same time, we need a lot of people who with their story are able to help us and give us hope right now in this very difficult time all over the world for all the people.
Thank you, ma'am, for sharing your wonderful insight on storytelling and how you told that storytelling helps in navigating the path. That was very inspiring. Thank you, ma'am. Again, once again. So moving
You're
on to
welcome.
our next speaker, Ambassador Noor Ahmed, all the way from Bangladesh. So the virtual platform is all yours, sir.
Well, can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, always.
Well, perfectly. I'm so sorry. I'm in nice position, so that's why I couldn't able to share my thought very perfectly. But yes, I will try my level best. Okay, let's have a talk about the storytelling. Before that, I want to introduce myself. This is Ambassador Noor Ahmed. I am from Bangladesh and I am the international speaker, moderator, youth influencer, educator, global ambassador, and some other designation I have. Professionally, I'm working international French NGO as a finance officer, audit and compliance. So yes, of course, this conference is a remarkable conference indeed because all are the beautiful storyteller who have been doing a fabulous activities in their ground. But in my perspective, I'm not a storyteller, but whenever I have shared my speech for the youth for any conference, I use my some of the stories, inspiring stories for all of the audience. Because by sharing the slide, it can be a boring for some of the audience. I try to be interactive with the other audience, so that's why I share the stories. Why I share these stories? Because stories are one of the most powerful way to guide, teach, and inspire the people. Because storytelling is effective because it helps to establish connection among people as well as between people and the idea that unite humanity. There are the different forms of stories, but I love mostly the inspirational stories. Maybe you are asking that why I pick those, as I focus that I am the youth influencer and I also represent my country Bangladesh to the international level. So if I'm not showing some inspirational story, the audience won't make this positive vibe. Even the youth will stop themselves only by doing their study, only doing to be a topper in their educational and get a high CGPA. But apart from the study, there will be another vision, another world that all the students should explore. So that's why I'm sharing the inspirational story all the time. So yes, let me start by another story of today. Two friends were walking through the desert. At one stage in their journey, they had an argument. One friend slapped the another one in the face. The one who got slapped was hurt, but without saying anything, he just wrote in the sand that today my best friend slapped me in the face. I repeat once again, the man who actually slapped was hurt, but without saying anything, he wrote in the sand that today my best friend slapped me in the face. Well, they kept on walking until they found an oasis where they decided to have a wash. And the one who had been slapped got stuck in the mire, started drawing, but his friend started to save him. After he recovered from the shock, he wrote on a stone that today my best friend saved my life. So the friend who actually slapped and saved his friend, then the friend asked him that after I heard you, you wrote in the sand. Now you write in the stone. Why? What the reason behind that? The the other friend said that when someone hurt us, we should write it down in the sand, where the wind of the forgiveness can erase it away. But when someone does something good for us, we must engrave it in the stone. Why? No wine, no wind can never ever erase it. So that's what actually the moral of the story, that never give up on your dream, even be positive and be highlighted all the positive things in your life, despite of thinking the negative things, and try to all the negative things with forgiveness, with some positive attitudes. You know what? Why I'm using the inspirational story? Because inspirational stories move past creating a sense of connection and allow the listener to identify with the story whenever and whatever they are in their own life. Well, some of the best story contains several different meaning and lessons or different effective communication, complex ideas, and so many things, right? So I have to say that there is a three storytelling characteristics. There is a three characteristics of storytelling. Number one, visual learner. Number two, auditory learners. And number three, kinesthetic learners. Visual learner who actually benefited from the mental picture that story evoked. I repeat, visual learner benefit from the mental picture that story evoked. Auditory learner are able to focus on the words and the voice of storyteller. That were actually we are here in radio and some other audio things. And kinesthetic learner can retain the emotional connection that they feel were created in a story. This is wow. I have to say once again, we have to be kinesthetic learner if possible. Actually, that actually can retain the emotional connection and that they feel the where we create a story. So storytelling is a great art, and all the storyteller is artist. And I would like to share all the speaker, all the audience, and all the youth whoever joined right now. Try to be effective. Try to learn from the story. If you are not able to, got interest to learn any informative articles, informative slide, and some other things, because story can connect your heart, story can run your life perfectly. Even story can give you the ultimate experience that what you have to be. Only the study is not a great deal to you. Only the getting high CGPA and be a topper is not the ultimate aim to you. You will be a great entrepreneur, you will be a great listener, you will be a great businessman, but apart from that, you have to have some responsibility in the humanity field. So I do give the respect and give the gratitude to my sister Rachana for giving me the floor, and I would like to give my utmost respect all the speaker, all the audience who are listening me with patience. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you so much for hearing me with patience.
Thank you, Ahmed sir, for providing the wonderful insight and that story you told. Thank you very much. So moving on to our next participant, we have Miss Vilma de la Barbosa, all the way from Brazil. So the stage is all yours, ma'am.
Hi, dear. Thank you so much. Thank you. Stories create community, enable us to see through the eyes of other people, and open us to the claim of others. Real stories matter, and this is why I'm here today to talk to you about who they are. Maybe you have never heard about them, but they are very important people in my life, and I'm going to explain you why. So, this is Brenda, one of my students. She is 17 years old, and since she was a child, she has a dream to become an international speaker speaking English and give her and made her father proud of her because this was his dream. This is Luani, who is now in the university. He has studied a lot and she has lots of dreams. She paints and she is also an artist. This is Isadora, a 12-year-old girl who used to hate English 2 years ago, but now she's one of my best students and she's always there representing Brazil in the international conferences. This is Gabriel. Gabriel is 29 years old. He calls himself a jack of all trades because he works day and night doing all kinds of activities. Anything that you need to be fixed, Gabriel is there helping you. This is Sandra. Sandra is a married woman. She has 2 sons, and nowadays she lives alone in her town because her husband and sons are living far away to work and study. This one is Josiele. Josiele is a professional makeup girl, and she loves what she does. This one is Wellington. Wellington is 11 years old. He's a hard studious boy because he wants to make his mom proud of him, since she is a separated girl and works hard to give him the best. Eduardo is 15 years old and is studying day and night because he wants to be a good professional. Hayani is a girl who loves painting and singing, and these days she's in the international world singing and dancing. But 2 years ago, she was afraid of speaking even in the classroom. Here, I have some more of my students. The first one is Alex, who loves camping and also dogs. This is Anna, one of my students. She's from Spain, as Alex, and here she is camping in this weekend with her friends. This is Gianfranco. Gianfranco is married, he has 2 children, and he works really hard. Every morning, he sends me a video of 10 minutes telling me about his routine, the things he did yesterday, the plans for the weekend. This next one is Valentina. Valentina has just gotten married, but she's a little sad because she has been working far from her husband. She had to move city, but she will be overcoming that, I'm sure. This one is Marta, a poor lady from our community, which one we worked in a project with her empowering girls, and we managed to make her a princess for a day. Here, there are many of my other students, Julia, Lara, Leo, Katia, Eloá, Davi, Enzo, Igor, Bruno, Esther, Bianca, Claudio, and I know about their lives. Some weeks ago, I was in a conference and teachers were talking about the importance of teachers calling their students' names. And I was thinking like that, what? Just know the student's name? I know my students' name, their age, their lives. I know her entire lives. And that makes a completely difference in our relationship because they trust me. They trust me, their lives, and they know about my life as well. And when they realize that I care about their lives, their true lives, the story of their lives, they become more confident to communicate in English, and they are all telling me about their lives in English, and we create a connection. And when teachers and students have a connection, everything becomes easier because they trust me and I trust them. They are open to learn, and that makes a completely difference. So calling them by their names is not enough. You have to listen to them. You have to learn about their stories, learn about their lives. This way, you will get them engaged to learn more and better. And this is Vilma, 15 years old. She had a dream. She wanted to become a top model. Oh, a big dream, isn't it? But this dream was left behind. But as she listened from her parents since she was a child, believe in yourself, study hard, that you will become someone important in the future, then she studied really hard. And when she was 13 years old, Vilma lived in a farm whose owner was the owner of an English school. And one day, he asked her, Vilma, would you like to study English in my school? I looked at his eyes and told him, yes, that is a big dream, but my parents don't have any money to pay. And in fact, they didn't have any money to pay. And then he told me, the dad, his name told me, but as you are always helping me here around with the goats and all the stuff around the farm, I'm gonna give you a 100 scholarship to study English for free if you want. And what I said, of course I want. That was a dream. And I studied really, really hard. I started studying English when I was 13 years old, and I wanted to become the best of his students because that was the only way I had to pay him the opportunity he was giving me to study English. And I studied hard to become the best ones. And I did. And today, some years later, I am international speaker and I am an international teacher because I have students from another countries and I have the power to inspire others. I have the power to bring my students to the international floor and I am changing their lives as the deaf. This is the teacher who gave me the opportunity many, many years ago because he listened to my true story. He believed me and then he helped me to make my dream come true because I believe that mentors, teachers make dreams come true because we listen to real stories. That's why I listen to my students' stories and I show them that they are really important. Even if they think that their life is nothing important, but listening to them, looking at their eyes, we show that yes, they are important. And today, because of the chance that there as a mentor, listening to me some years ago, I am here in International Storyteller Fest, sharing my real story. And I had many, many chances in my life. And of course, I grabbed all the chances. I always grab the chances that life gives me. And this is what I teach my students. Grab all the opportunities. Give your best. When someone invites you to do something, say yes. Go for it. Sometimes someone invites me, Vilma, would you like to do this? I say yes at the same time. Later, I send a message. What am I supposed to do? Because I have no idea, but I say yes. I grab the opportunity. This is the way we improve ourselves. This is the way we learn and make our story even better. What about you? What is your real story? Make it worth it. Make a difference in other people's lives. Sharing your story and listening to their real story. Thank you, dear Rachna, for giving me this opportunity once more. I'm truly honored to be here. Thank you so much.
Wonderful, good, really good.
Thank
Every
you.
moment, every word.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Wilma ma'am, for sharing your insights on storytelling. And I really like that sentence that stories help us see lives from others' point of view. And that was really a nice sentence. Now, thank you
Thank
for
you,
your
dear.
insights. Now, I would like to invite Rachna ma'am for sharing her insights onto the show. So, Rachna ma'am, over to you.
Yes, brilliant. Thank you, Rachna. Yes, it was really brilliant listening to Vilma and the other storytellers. I'm really awestruck. And it's great that we are doing it season 2 of this International Storytelling Fest. So, in the first season also, we had brilliant storytellers. And of course, Tony Sir, the father of storytelling, was always there with us. Now also he is there. And in the coming years, in all the seasons, of course, he will be there. And the amazing storytellers lined up, the eminent speakers. I'm really thankful from the bottom of my heart. And we have a new moderator this time from Creative Writing Modern Age, Racheta, who is also doing brilliant job. Thank you so much, Racheta, for doing it wonderfully. She is a learner and a student in the being of a storyteller, a writer herself, an established author, but brilliantly trying. Our main intention here in Creative Writing Modern Age is to train the younger generation. We have been leaving it, but if we can train a young mind and they can lead us, that's a brilliant job. So we are trying to do it. Thank you so much, Racheta, for taking up this courage and standing, though she was telling me that, ma'am, in front of so many eminent scholars and personalities, how do I stand and how do I figure out myself? But Racheta, let me tell you, you are doing brilliant. So that is why I just wanted to say about Nada ma'am, who talked about the business stories. It was brilliant and it's really nice listening. And of course, Tony sir, with the journey nicely again, we lived with him in all his years. Ramendra sir's story, how he survived the cancer, and from humor to tumor, how did he make it possible? These are all living stories. Vilma ma'am's stories with the students, how she gets connected with them, with her stories, and each and every student naming them personally, and not only naming, getting connected to them. Aren't these stories? And this really touches me listening to them. Ambassador Noor Ahmad, though he was busy, but still he made it to share about stories. So that was brilliant. I'm really enjoying. So without taking much of your time, Racheta, you can continue with us eminent speakers and the storytellers who are delegating on the very important topic, the power of storytelling. That's the power. Over to you, Racheta.
Thank you, ma'am, for your wonderful words. Okay, so now moving on to our next guest, we have Professor Dr. Madhvi Bros, all the way from India. Okay, so the stage is all yours, ma'am.
Am I audible? Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much. Like it was really going amazing, and I could simply say, yeah, like awesome. All the speakers, all my excellencies, and those my shining stars were like, I'm so curious to hear you, and the moderators. And Rachita, I should say, like, yeah, you are incredibly awesome. You're really doing good, good, amazing, amazing. Keep it up. Now, like when it comes to story, so it's a great example to make someone understand. Yeah, I was in one of the seminars, so people were asking something, and there were a lot of Supreme Court advocates and everyone, but people couldn't understand sometimes those things. So we can start with the story and example, and that was I have given, and they have understood it very nicely. So I believe that is the more amazing thing. So I write stories for newspapers, books, and magazines as well. So many of them, but right now I'm here for All India Radio interview, so I couldn't show you with the PPT, but yeah, somewhere I could come up and let you know. So one of the story, if I could share with you, so there was a girl who was I could say in school, she got almost 5 first prizes in so many classes, school magazines, best leadership in NCC camps. Until now, when she grown up, she got awards, 3,000 newspapers coverage, 15 magazines, doctorates, and so many books, and the institution. Now, even radio, TV interviews, and some world records, and all. But though, with this, she has got in the age of 13 years old, heart operation. It was a 10 years thing that she might be passed away if she wouldn't have got operated. A pneumonia, then an asthma. Twice in her life till now, she has almost faced ICU. Is that what is life? Then painful marriage, then divorce, and so many then again, but still, out of that, what she did, work hard night. She studied in the kitchen if she couldn't study at her home, in the room, if skipped her meals for saving money and study for her colleges and everything. Wiped tears and back to the work. Yeah. She's me. And everyone came up and said that, yeah, you're so lucky, so fortunate to have everything. But I could say, no, never say anyone you're lucky, because the journey is not so easy. It takes a lot of, hard work, lots of inspirations, lots of self-motivation. So yeah, make your own story, as Wilma ma'am said that, yeah, what is your story? And that is really got me connected. This is my story. So everything what I learned from this, that yeah, everything happens for the reason, happens for good. Because today, just imagine if I won't have a story, so how I could have shared with you? How what would be the like tomorrow when there's an interview in All India Radio? What would I have said, that how was my journey? It's so easy. No. So story is required, the pain is required, the journey, like whatever, like whatever um pressure was there, that is required, and the self motivation is required. Yeah. A story creates a curiosity, even it's a song, even it's a poem. So when we listen any song or poem, so when I say that it happens the next time, it is my story, like anything, and the rapping or something. So it gives us more curiosity, because we want to know what will happen next, then next, then next. So this is something happens. So yeah, it is really important. And I would say that yeah, it's a great fest, Rachna ma'am. Won't take so much time, and this is really amazing. And see, this is the part with where I got it, and Wilma ma'am, like and all of the excellency who has shared, Nada ma'am and all, Noor sir, like amazingly you have discussed and everything. And Rachna ma'am, thank you so much for your opportunity. I'm so lucky to have connected with you all the time. And see, I'm here, and recently I just got to know that the ceremony which we done day before yesterday. Um, we have, like, we are highlighted in Ashtak. So I'm there. So it's really amazing. And I'm so happy to have you all the time. You all are so really inspiration for me, the motivation for me. So thank you so much, Raja Rao sir, Nada ma'am, Rachna ma'am, and Rachita, like everybody, you are Devi ma'am, and especially Tony sir. Like, yeah, you are like, you really remind us, like, when it comes to you, that we are hearing to someone so senior, and we are like, still I'm on the journey and learning from you. So if you wouldn't have given me this platform, and especially Raja Rao sir, because I always say, till now I must have done 2,500 webinars, but my first webinar was on this platform. So thank you so much, all of you. So connecting me, listening me, inspiring me. Love you all, and lots of respect. And keep sharing your story, and keep making it. Keep editing your story in your real life. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Madhmi ma'am, for your wonderful and inspiring words. And the thing which I like most in your thing is to make our own stories. That was really something else for me. And another thing which you said is everything happens for a reason. That also like sparked something in me. Okay, thank you, ma'am. So moving on to our next participant, we have Debbie and Noy, all the way from England. So the stage is all yours, ma'am.
Hi, everybody. Thank you very much, Rashna, Mom, and everybody else for inviting me onto the platform. It's been wonderful listening to the stories. And I am not, well, I would always say I'm not an official storyteller, i.e., I write a lot in terms of stories, etc. But I am an educator and a teacher. However, like most of you, especially Tony, I grew up in the house of stories, whereby my grandparents have always told me stories of their ancestors and what the journeys were like. So therefore, the stories they told me actually came alive. And although I was not in those countries that my grandparents were telling me the stories about, I actually were able to visualize it, because the way by which they told the story, it actually brought the whole thing alive for me. And I was able to be on that journey with them as they told me the story. So I grew up in the story of Bear and Nancy and Bear Rabbit and Be a Tiger. Those are all the stories that I grew up on. And I actually visualized that Be and Nancy was someone real. I was able to visualize how he actually was a trickster and the things he did. So, it became part of my upbringing and part of my journey and part of my culture. Another thing is we all have a story to tell. We all have a backstory. But it depends on how we are telling that backstory. We could either allow it to make us, or we could allow it to break us. However, as educators, all our students have a story. And as educators, my job as an educator is to make sure that when my students tell me their story, it is not the story that would break them. It's the story that I would enable them to enhance their life, to show them the positiveness in the story which they're going to be telling me. Because as an educator, I feel that it is our journey constantly, and it's our, our duty as educators to make sure that when our students tell us stories, we try to demonstrate the positiveness in the story, which would empower them and enable them to move forward. Because too often, students are given stories that becomes their reality, and no one have ever told them that this story is not the reality. It is your reality in your head. So we need to change the narrative and enable our students to see the story that would enhance them and enable them to move forward. Because as we know, an educator could either make you or break you. They could either make you be something or they could make you be nothing. Because as an educator myself, I've been to the journey where if I did not have a very strong mother who believed in positive story, maybe I would have been a nothing. Because too often our stories could shape who we become as an adult. And it is so important that when these young children have their story, we need to make sure that we start changing the story that they're telling themselves, because these little children become adults. And those stories that they carry with them on the journey can damage them as they progress in life, right? Another thing is, when we talk about stories gives you a message, it empowers you, it could disempower you, it could enhance your life, it could transform you, it could take you on a journey, of either transformation or, destruction. It is also a form of expression. Stories enable you to understand things and understand other people. It is also a form of knowledge. It enables you to visualize a journey. Because when my grandparents were telling me stories, I actually was able to visualize the journey. I was able to also visualize Bianansi, that he was a trickster. Although there were no image in the books to tell me, but the way they told the story gave me a visual picture in my mind and enabled me to make Bianansi come alive. Stories also enable you to increase your confidence. It enables you to reflect. It also inspires. As a teacher and as an educator, every day I'm telling a story to my students. I'm either getting them to change their backstory and to see the real story and to make them see how they could progress in life. I'm also telling them a story in terms of where I want them to be. So in order for me to enhance them and enable them to be where they want to be, I need to tell them the story of where I have been and where I am, or of other people, so they could also see themselves in the lives and the story of these other people, these mentors, or these other people that want to aspire to be. As an educator, I'm also telling stories, as I said, on a daily basis, because when I'm actually teaching my students the contents of a topic, I need to tell them a story so that they come along with me on the contents. Because too often, when students cannot see the contents you are teaching them, they are not enjoying the subject, nor are they understanding. Story increase our understanding of everything. So by me taking them on a journey through the contents of either psychology, sociology, or health and social care, I'm enabling them to understand the topic, and it becomes alive for them in their mind. And then they're able to connect with it. Story gives us a form of connection, not only with the material, but also with your students. As an educator, when I'm constantly telling them stories, they are connecting with me and they're becoming part of the journey. They're understanding the contents. So if I really want to become a fantastic educator, or if I want my student to understand the contents, I need to take them on a journey of the topic so that they're able to see the contents, not just as something basic, but as something they could connect with. And that's what story does. Story makes us connect with material and connect with people and things. So as an educator on a daily basis, I have to be telling stories. And I need to also listen to my students' stories because I also need to change their mindset to enable them to see the story that they're telling themselves is not the right story sometimes. Because too often it is so easy for us to take on the story that our mind is telling us, which are all the negativity, that as educators, we need to start telling our students the new story and the real story so that they're able to connect and it actually take them forward and enhance their life. Because negative story could really damage young people who then become adults and who then become traumatic and damaged adults. So as educators, it is so very, very important that we begin to tell students real stories that would enhance their lives. Right, that's it.
Fabulous, 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 fabulous. I could listen all day.
Thank you.
Oh, so good.
Thank you, Debbie ma'am, for your inspiring and wonderful tale. And it's really true that story gives us a message, a way to transform, and it can help us connect and see the lights in various ways. So that was really inspiring and wonderful. Thank you so much, Debbie ma'am. And our next guest is Dr. Alicia Durgarian, all the way from Armenia. So the platform is all yours, ma'am.
Alice, ma'am, are you there? Alice, ma'am?
I'm here. Am I audible? I'm here.
Yeah, okay. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do I have a chance? Okay. First of all, good evening, everyone. And first of all, my friend, Professor Rachana, thank you for the invitation. Really, I was sitting, listening, and inspiring. And at first, I haven't just prepared anything because storytelling is really something, it can be like an episode of our own life story. And I try to be a little bit just creative from this point. And now I'm going to a little to change the format of the program of the project that we are doing because my friends, all the let's say all the episodes, all the presentations were a very good one. Now I want to make my presentation a little bit practical one with the help of my friends, and I would like that all of you just to be a little bit active. I would like all of you just to unmute yourself because now we are going to build up our own storytelling, our own story. And let's say at first, I will randomly ask different people. I will try to look here at the list and ask randomly people and try to at the same time analyze the structure of storytelling, because storytelling, it can be like an episode, like a story taken from our real life and also taken from our childhood and everything. As every story, it has a basement, it has a stepping stone in his structure, and everything is just going to be like to develop and get one more and more different kinds of variants of it. And let's start from the first point, that usually we want to start the story, we have a plot for it, and before having a plot, we try to have different kinds of ideas and to choose a topic. Now I will start from my friend, Professor Rachana. Please tell me any one topic that comes to your mind, firstly.
Life.
Okay. our story is going to be named like life. And the second one that we usually have here. Okay. The second one is our topic. The second one that we usually have for it, it's going to be like to choose the characters. Now I will ask another Professor Tony. Please, can you, Mr. Crescent, can you tell me what characters would you like to have in the story of life?
What character?
Yeah.
Old adult, male.
Old adults. This one?
Male.
Okay.
Old
Now,
adult.
I will also ask Anya. Anya, please give me one negative character.
One more character. I would say school-going kid.
School what, sorry?
School-going kid, like, I don't know, 13, 12 years old.
This one, am I right?
Kid.
Kid, okay.
Yeah.
I think from the internet, maybe something. Okay, thank you. Now we have our characters. We have like old adults and we have our school-going kid. Now the third part that we are going to know about the story is going to be like theme. What kind of topic is going to be this life? Is it going about the place and also about the time? For place, I would like to ask Debbie. Debbie, please name any kind of place. Please unmute yourself.
Caribbean.
My internet today is going to.
Okay.
Can you repeat?
Grenada. Grenada.
Can you write down in the chat?
Yeah. Oh, what's going on here?
Okay. Now it's going to be our place. I would ask another one. Nada, are you here? Can you tell me about the time? What time or maybe what century is going to be? Nada, are you here? Let me ask another one. I will ask Ramendra. Ramendra, can you tell me time? Any? We don't have answers. Okay, let me ask another one here from, I have asked, let's ask Tony again. Tony, what time would you like to have your story?
Me?
Yeah.
Okay. 1960s.
Okay. Why? Okay, now we have the topic. Now let's go about the next part that we are going to have in our storytelling. It's going to be the dialogue. Dialogue which usually can be between our characters, can be the first and second, just the characters that usually we have in our stories. The next part is going to be, what do you think, what can be? We have place, we have time, we have characters, we have dialogues. What can we add in order to have a magic one? I will ask my friend, Professor Rachana, please what will you add?
A background or a like the situation, so that the story is built up.
Okay, situation, and from Mr. Cranston, I saw also about the action. And plus, I will add also melody. Yeah, sometimes we have melody for it. Okay, now we have everything, like the first episode, how to create the storytelling, like all the parts, but we also should remember about the decor. What kind of equipment it can be, like about the just dresses, about for example, if we have a palace, if we have something, everything that refers to the design, it's going to be like really a creative one. And also after it, it's going to be like a result really that we have, for example, for it in some cases telling like we have three apples, like everything that always the kindness can win the evil, and we have they have lived happily after it. And what do you think? What can be the end of this story? How can you just let's say, what kind of, how can you conclude the story? Life is what? How can be the life? Because we have old adults,
Change.
school-going kids, will change. Okay, change for the better, maybe.
Yes.
Okay. I think it's something that really, from the psychological point, if we just analyze, it will come. Life is something that usually we are interested in, especially about the problems, especially about the troubles that we usually have. And as a result, for every kind of, let's say, psychological problem, it goes to how can we solve it, the solution of it. And as you see, the problem of life, it can be the change for the better. This was my story. Thank you very much.
Wow, ma'am, that was brilliant. We had a nice activity, I think, and it really made our brains work. Who was thinking that next turn question would be asked to me? So you really made us again active into the scene once again, thinking about what will be, which question will be asked to me. So this had made the brain again rock on. So thank you so much. It was brilliant. I couldn't wait for Acheta to speak in. I wanted to say that it was a brilliant activity. Thank you so much. And that is what the power of storytelling does. Over to you, Rachel.
Thank you, Alice ma'am, for your wonderful activity. And now, going over to our next speaker, we have Shania Singh, all the way from India. So the stage is all yours, Shania.
Hello everyone, Namaste. I'm your friend Shania Singh from India and I'm 7 years old. I'm the world's youngest storyteller.
Shania, you are muted, please.
Is my voice audible?
Right now again, yes.
Yes. I'm extremely delighted to be on the Storytelling Fest. Storytelling to me means one who narrates stories rules the world. I'm a storyteller so that I can spread awareness through my stories. So today I'll be narrating a story written by Nandana Dev Sen, Mambi and the Forest Fire. Once there was a monkey named Mambi. She used to live on the banana tree. Whenever she used to be happy, her eyes would sparkle and her tail would move left, right, swish, swash, swish, swash. But Mambi always dreamed to be like her friends. She wanted to fly like Cocoa, the crow. Caw, caw, caw. But when Mammy tried flying. She landed with a big cartwheel into the bush. Puff! Ouch! That hurts! Now she wanted to swim like Tongo, the turtle. But when Mamby's tail touched the water, she started to drown. Ah! Help me! Ah! Help me! She saw a leaf. She hopped on to the leaf and came back to land. Mamby told herself, I cannot swim like Tongo the turtle. She was very sad. One day in the forest, it was very hot. Mammy was sitting under the banana tree and fanning herself. That day, all the lakes were dried up. Animals did not get proper water to drink. In the evening, all the parrot families and deer families cuddled up and slept. But after some time, Mamby had smelled something burning. When Mamby opened her eyes, she had seen that the whole forest was set on fire. She first went and saved Cocoa the crow because Cocoa the crow had laid eggs. She brought Cocoa the crow's nest down and she saved Cocoa the crow. Cocoa the crow thanked Mammy. Now Mammy went to save Tongo the turtle. In the process of saving Tongo the turtle, Mamby had burnt her tail a little bit. But she was fine in the end. And slowly like this, she had saved the whole forest on her own. All the forest animals, including Tongo the turtle and Cocoa the crow, thanked Mammy and told Mammy they wanted to be like her. So, my dear friends, the moral of the story is everyone is special and unique in their own way. We should never compare ourselves with anyone because we have a special talent. Instead of watching the television, we should find out what is our hidden talent. It could be anything, storytelling, drawing, anything. Thank you.
Oh, wow. That's an incredible message for everyone. Shania, Shania, Shania.
Well done.
Hey,
Well
Sarah,
done.
Sarah.
Well
Shania, Shania, Shania. What
Thank you,
can
Mom.
I say? Shania, you're a gem. You're a
There
precious
you go,
gem.
Shania.
Wow, well done, little
Well done.
princess.
Amazing. A very good message. Find your talent. Find your core. Yes.
Mhm.
Oh, excellent. I was just with so many children from Mauritius, from Dubai, and from India. They were all doing a lovely session on public speaking, and we had 6-year-old child narrate a story, and here I have Shania do the same. So inspiring. Really, kudos to your parents for supporting you, for guiding you through this. It's
Yes.
upbringing, parenting gone right. Wonderful, Shania. I've had you come to my school online and speak and motivate our little small ones. And it's so good, Shania. It's wonderful. I'm going to invite you this year also. You'll come online and you'll say, and you're really a wonderful gem. And please tell your mama that she is doing an incredible job. Salute and
Yes,
big
yes,
namaste to mama. Okay? Yes. So yes, I'm back again. Thank you, Rachna ma'am, for accommodating me and letting me do Miss India. One there and you're there, and I feel very good to be back again.
Brilliant, Kristen ma'am. I was just thinking that, to shift you from the one activity to other, joining from this, that's the main, this thing about technology, the story behind technology. That can be a new story rather in this world. So you were in a different world, now again in a different world. Thank you so much for joining again.
They're all the world of words. So we all come in from words. We originate, we resonate with words. So we have our 15th participant, our guest speaker, Mannat. Yes, is it Mannat? Am I right? Is she there?
Yes, ma'am, I'm there.
Oh yes, Mannat. Oh wow, such a cute little girl. Mannat Pankul, right? Is it Pankul, Mannat?
Mannat Pankul Nija.
Pankule Arena. Wow, that is so cute. How old are you, Mannat?
I'm 9 years old.
Wow, and where are you from, Mannat?
I'm from Ghaziabad, India.
Ah, Ghaziabad, India. Very nice. So all over to you, Mannat. What are you going to tell us, Mannat?
Something brief about power of storytelling.
Power of storytelling, yes. And what else?
Read a short story.
Oh, wow, wow. Incredible. Okay, Debbie wanted to say something for Shania. I am so sorry I didn't give you a chance to say, Debbie. So can you unmute and say something? Then we go to Mannat. Yes, Debbie, can you say?
Okay, no, I was just saying that she was fantastic, just absolutely brilliant, and in an inspiration for young children.
Yes, yes. Thank you, Debbie. Yes, so Mannat, your turn now.
Yes, sure, ma'am. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and namaskar to one and all present here. I am Mannat Pankul Nija from India. I am youngest speaker champion and certified junior storyteller. Today, we all are gathered here at CWMA Storytelling Fest 2022 to discuss the power of storytelling. I'm honored to be a guest speaker among all eminent speakers from different parts of the globe. Sincere regards to Rachna ma'am and Rajarao sir for having me here tonight. It was a delight hearing all the eminent speakers, especially to Tony Cranston sir. I'm sure each one of us would be having a different version about storytelling. According to me, storytelling is at the heart of life. As a child, I was never bored because I could always get on with my story. Hope you will agree with me. Stories build bridges. When the story ends and the teller's voice is silenced, the bridge between teller and listener remains. That is the true essence of storytelling. According to Saul, stories can change the world. It is actually an oldest form of teaching. It bonded the early human communities, giving children the answer to the biggest questions of creation, life, and the afterlife. Best part is stories define us, shape us, control us, and make us. Not every human culture in the world is literate, but every single culture tells stories. Those who tell the stories rule society. With these golden words of Pluto, let me narrate a beautiful story which has a deep moral message written by Hans Christian Andersen. Once there was a woman who didn't have children. She yearns to have a baby girl. One day, a soothsayer, looking at her sadness, and asked her to plant a seed to fulfill her desire. She planted the seed. To everyone's surprise, a little girl hatched from the tulip flower. Our baby was as little as a thumb, so women named her Thumbelina.
she started living in a walnut shell. Thumbelina, on her life journey, met a terrible frog who wanted her to marry his son. So she took Thumbelina in a lily flower, but she didn't want to marry Toad. She was sad there, but God sent butterflies to rescue by making her sit on her back to woods. Thumbelina was very happy living in the woods. But when winter came, butterfly flew away, left Thumbelina alone. Mouse, looking at her loneliness, took her home with a malefic intention to marry her to Mole. Thumbelina do not want to live in dark tunnel with a mole the entire life. One day, sparrows saw Thumbelina in pain and took her to the land of summer, where each boy and girl was like Thumbelina. They took her to their prince, and luck favored Thumbelina as prince and married her, and they lived happily ever after. In my opinion, it's a great version of classic tale and have given a clear message. Life encounters many problems and obstacles, but should face challenges and should not surrender or leave our kindness to overcome problems and be happy in life. Thus, I would say, stories can create an emotional connection, generate the next big idea, and reshape our most vital systems. It gives us an opportunity to learn from another person's experience, and it can shape, strengthen, or challenge our opinions and values. When a story catches our attention and engages us, we are more likely to absorb the message and meaning within it than if the same message were presented simply in facts and figures. Thank you.
Let's do this for a.
Wonderful.
We can actually do the full clap. Very good, excellent. You brought in so much diversity of stories, so much values, so much you brought in. You gave us a full McDonald's, you gave us a pizza, you gave us a Indian thali, you gave us French fries, you gave us a full global fusion dish. And that's what stories do. You can integrate so much of math, English, history, geography through stories. And when these young children speak, wow, wonderful. Yes. So Tony, sir, I can see you coming closer. Do you want to speak?
Good, good. Yes, yes, yes. Can you please record that for radio with that introduction and with that moral ending? It would be perfect for radio. Please do it. Please record it. Make a nice recording. Send it to me, totocranston@hotmail.com, or send it to me Facebook. And I know we're connected on Facebook, so please do send it me. It's wonderful. It's a good story. But your introduction and your ending there, your moral ending, moral of the story, please record that too to go with it. I'll be happy
Excellent.
to put that on the radio.
Wow.
Plus your name and where you're from and age, everything like that.
Sure, sir. It's my pleasure.
Oh, mine too.
You're going to be on Radio Mannat. Wow. Excellent. So we have, it's been such a wonderful journey to see so many people come around and my little tiny stars. I'd say you're so good. I'm first time listening to Mannat. Very nice, Mannat. Excellent. Good job. So we like to invite Raja Rao sir, Dr. Raja Rao sir. Is he here around? Yes, he's there. Yeah. So, sir, we like to hear from you. You've been there around, supporting us, helping. So thank you so much. We can't
Thank you,
hear you.
Excellency. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Actually, I am the one who keeps on telling the stories. But today I happened to listen to more than 2.5 hour stories. That too, legends like Mannat and Sharaya. It's a really great day. Thank you so much, All Excellencies, because we were all conquered by the upcoming new generation. We appreciate because our legacy will be carried by such a great youngsters. We feel it's a privilege. And I appreciate Professor Rachna Chakraborty ma'am. Really, actually, people like you should not conduct programs like these. I mean, you have to conduct programs very often because really these are heart-touching programs. I have seen so many programs. Of course, we talk about the world problems, struggles, answers, finding out. But there is one thing that we are supposed to answer. That's me, myself, the inner person who is residing in us. Because when we are talking about stories, really that comes. Today, whoever the storyteller, but every story, I can adapt to every story. I'm thinking that it's my story. They are speaking about me, they are talking about me, they are narrating my life, they are narrating my journey. Because everyone has all the ingredients. We have other stories. You believe it or not, up to my age 18 or 20, so many horror stories in my life. Because when I was young, there was a movie, Evil Dead. We used to watch only that movie, Evil Dead 1, Evil Dead 2, Evil Dead 3. That is the only horror movie that we remember. And then in the Bollywood, there is Purana, Mandir, Purana, Haveli, like that movies. So we keep on watching all these movies by having the CD player, DVD player. Of course, there are horror movies we know, but we have been watching those movies. You know what is happening in those movies? After watching those movies, you know, we were horrified and there are nightmares. So, so many horrific experiences in your life after watching those horror movies. So then we can see so many comedy. There are so many comedy sceneries in our lives, many instincts that there is so much of comedy in our lives. Sentiments, of course, we need not say anything about these sentiments because in family, if something goes wrong with our father, mother, child, brother, any sibling, so much of sentiment. Knowingly or unknowingly, there are tears. You know, we Indians, just by watching movies, we know they are the movies, we know they are acting, but even then, we cry with the actors. That is our attitude. If something goes wrong in our family, you know, there are no boundaries to our sentiments. We cry. You know, there is a saying in India, the people who are suffering, they suffer only some extent. But the people, those who are with them, they suffer a lot. There are no boundaries to their suffering because that pains us more. So what I wanted to say is, in our life, there is fiction. In our life, there is romance. Of course, we believe it or not, everyone has to accept. Yes, we have that romance in one stage in our lives, right? So comedy, we never ever say no to comedy because we may do the comedy or we might in some other person's, we may get involved into some other person's comedy. So finally, what I wanted to say is there are so many types of stories in our lives, from our lives. Actually, believe it or not, if you search Raja Rao Pagidipalli in Google, then you can see some results about me. And I am writing some articles and stories to Medium, a blog. And I used to write Academia blog. So actually, whatever I write, I prefer writing stories. Actually, Today also, my work is writing stories from my life. Actually, I don't write stories but only from my life. So what I think is, what I have been thinking about my life is, at present, my life is not that much valuable, not that much significant. But in future, there will be a day. I strongly believe that, so that I can live or I can survive. I can strongly believe in future, there will be a day when my life will become so much significant to everyone. So at the time, people want to know about me, people want to know about you, because at one point in the history, at one point in life, everyone's life becomes significant. So at the time, people will Google me and they wanted to find out what is my story. So then I start narrating my story since 1980 to some point in the future. So why our stories are relevant? Because in every person's life, there are so many emotions. Actually, the thing is, we don't see it. We don't see it. We see the SS Rajamouli and we think he's a great explorer, so he can find beautiful stories. But you know, the fact is, we are the great explorers, we are the great adventurers. Just if we see inside, actually, if I do 2 or 3 hours train journey, I will get one story. If I do one flight journey by seeing so many people, I will get one story. So there are n number of stories in my life I wanted to write. That will happen soon. But what I'm trying to tell you is, just see, I narrate, you believe it or not, I narrate my stories to myself, because no one is ready, no one has time. The first thing is, no one has time. Today, Professor Rachna Chakrabarti ma'am arranged this program, and she is going to give us a certificate, and it is a international program, international webinar, international certificate, international organization. So many are there. So we are listening. But if casually make a call to friend or Professor Rachna Chakrabarti ma'am, can you please listen to my story? No way. So what I'm trying to tell you is, just narrate your story to yourself before you are going to narrate it to the world. So I narrate all my stories to myself. If I feel okay, good with my story, then I'll continue to write, because there are so many struggles in my life. Actually, when there is a struggle in my life, I think it is a struggle. But after a while, I think that it is a comedy. All the things in my life, after a journey, I treat them as a comedy. I treat them as a joke, because at one point, it may seem struggle to us. It may seem an adventure to us. But as we are getting the experience, as we are coming all the hurdles in our lives, they remain as stories, a beautiful, a wonderful, heart-touching story. So these stories, whatever the stories that you narrate to yourself, whatever the stories that you narrate, how you are visualizing your future to be in the coming days, then that will decide what you are after 5 years, what you are after 2 years, what you are after 1 year. So keep telling to you a beautiful stories about your bright future. Keep telling to yourself a beautiful, tremendous, successful stories, not about the struggles. Leave them aside. Keeps on telling the beautiful stories about future regarding your aims, ambitions. Because there is a great inspirational dialogue in the movie Om Shanti Om. I don't remember the dialogue, but if you see that movie, after drinking, Shah Rukh Khan says that lengthy dialogue. I will tell you that in English. If you have something in your mind about your destiny, the whole universe will support you to reach that goal, to reach that destination, to reach that ambition. So my thing is, make your future goal as a story. Make your future a brilliant, a wonderful, what you are imagining, a future, make it as a story. Keeps on telling that story to you so that you can see a wonderful future, because our life exists in our stories, whatever we narrate to our mind. So your mind is nothing but you. So whenever I say a story to myself, that means I'm thinking. If you are thinking something, that means you are narrating a story to yourself. So start with yourself narrating stories, because you are going to have a bright future in it. So the stories that has so much of influence on us. So don't take leaves from the lives of others. Take from yourself. Start the journey from start the journey with you, with you, I myself with me. So then you can see a wonderful future, bright future with your storytelling capabilities. So this is my person about my stories, because I have been rising by telling all the stories to myself. Because one day I told my friends when assembled in a meeting, I told them a story, one example, that I'm going to meet a chief minister one day through this organization. They laughed at me. So after they laughing, they ridiculed me. After their ridiculing, I told them that I'm going to meet the president of India. You believe it or not? I told them the story on the day in the same meeting. Then I told them the story. I proved that it is a fact after 3 years. So the stories has a great link with our lives. So make your stories true. Will make when you narrate it to yourself. So instead of taking stories from others or other books, first of all, start from your journey, then take from others. Then you can see the wonders and miracles in your life. Thank you, Rachna Chakraborty ma'am, and all the attendees. Thank you so much for this wonderful time. Thank you, thank you.
That was indeed incredible, sir. You gave us lovely words of wisdom. And if you have something to achieve, and if you have a dream, a desire, the whole universe will conspire together to help you to achieve it. Yes, telling stories.
That is right. Got it. Thank you. That is from Sharkanis.
That is what the original core, sharing your original core, sharing your stories, telling yourself. So what you shared was about self-anchoring yourself. Every day, motivate yourself. Tell yourself success stories. Wonderful. Every day, I also tell myself this before I get up in the morning. Morning Star, one day will be a skill-based school. We will be known all over. Every day I tell myself, I will get Padma Bhushan. And I am not joking. I tell myself every day this. That I am going to, and I keep telling this to my school too, and my teachers too. And every day I believe in the power of talking to yourself, going in front of the mirror, talking to yourself, telling yourself positive things. I have been through a tough journey during the pandemic, where I had only 9 students. My preschool was almost shut, only 9 students. And today, when we see it's doubled and tripled, and there's abundance. I have 2 centers, and now we are opening another learning center. It's all hard work. Our preschools were shut, online was shut, and I kept going with it. 9, if there are less, I go on the roads and get children, but I will teach, and we will continuously teach. We will not stop. We will teach at a very low price, but we will not stop. We will do our best. We will not stop, and that kept us going. And the doors open, avenues open. It was not just school, we went to public speaking, we went to personality development, we connected with teachers abroad, we connected with our entire, there was a lovely world. I was like, when the pandemic started, what's going to happen? And what's going to happen really revealed in a wonderful and a bountiful way. So there's always good there. Wait, at the end of the tunnel, there's always good awaiting for you. There's always something awaiting for you. If you want to give up, take a little pause, but run the race, complete the race. And it's so inspiring that you shared, rather than taking stories from the book, share your stories. Your stories can be a part of books. Your stories, we are not only teachers to design curriculums and lesson plans. Our stories can be stories like Milka Singh. Our stories can be another story like Raja Rao's stories, from zero, shunya se 100%. So it can be, and we will be. So that's what we need to train our children. Pado bhai, read karo. Read so that you can be someone and write an effective story. So amazing. And yes, everybody's inner core is really released today. I think we've all shared so much. Last but not the least, I have one speaker very eagerly waiting. And I'm so sorry I had to speak in between. So Rachana ma'am, you want to say something? I couldn't help, but I had to speak because sir was giving so much and it was really beautiful, So the aspect of self-anchoring, the great inspiration that Sir Raja Rao shared is great. Hi, how sweet.
Hello.
Yeah. So Rachana ma'am, you like to share something?
Oh, no, brilliantly well. Rajarao sir had said, though he wanted to speak up in the end, but this was really brilliant. When you speak your own story, as we had listened to the father of storytelling, Tony sir, he too had talked about his own story, including Ramendra, this great storytellers. They're all stalwarts in storytelling, and they have made examples, and they created the story in which we would love to live. So that was really brilliant, Rajarao sir, how you had said that every day we need to speak to ourselves and we need to say our own story. And if we cannot say that, we might not be able to make our stories a success. So, Kristen ma'am, amazing. So you can continue with that.
Yeah. So we go on to the last speaker, last but not the least, the precious one, because everybody is going to listen. Because finally, afterwards, you're going to get your certificate. So everybody's going to give you attention. So don't worry, nobody's going to sleep. So Monashri, right? Monashri, right? Am I
I'm
right?
Manjuri.
Monjuri. Monjuri Sharma from, I think, Kolkata.
From Guwahati, Assam.
Okay, Guwahati, Assam. So the stage is all yours. And yes, you can tell us the power of storytelling. You have so many new avenues, so many new ideas that you can incorporate now. So
yes,
the show is all yours.
Thank you, Kristen ma'am. Love your jill of presentation. You're truly a great anchor. And I was very spellbound listening to you. You're wonderful. Well, greetings to everyone present on this platform and also to the wonderful audience. Well, it's my privilege to be invited as a guest speaker by Creative Writing Modern Age among all the talented ones on the topic. So be it Tony Cranston sir, Ramendra Kumar sir, and so on. And even listening to Raja Rao sir was also so remarkable. Well, this topic, power of storytelling, is very close to my heart because I myself, from my college days, I was very much interested in writing stories. And listening to all the wonderful speakers, that stories are all about us as we connect with each other. And also to the budding talents, Shania and Mannat. They were just awesome. Well, as I was saying that I used to write short stories and they were published in local newspapers and magazines way back in the mid-90s. And my journey began in that way. And my profession as an educator makes me use stories as a medium to explain lessons in an engaging way to the young minds. Well, my profession as a TV news reader demands factual stories, while my profession as a radio jockey urges me to talk with my unseen listeners, creating stories relating to daily life activities. In fact, we, like everyone has said, that we all are storytellers and we tell our own story, isn't it? Well, we put forth ideas, create imagination, give questions to think, and we instill hope in others. So storytelling, it provides an opportunity to learn from another person's experience as it then empowers us to challenge our opinions. But if the same message would have been given in facts and figures, then it would not engage us or catch our attention, isn't it? Well, a story needs a plot, characters, place, purpose, and sequence, but related characteristics of drama, familiarity, simplicity, relatability, and immersion. There should be conflict and resolution, tension and release, mystery and revelation. After all, stories are about people, their dreams and desires, love and hate, problems and passions. It's like when we say a story, we keep ourselves in the character's place. In this regard, I would like to show you a very short video which I just made in the daytime. I tried to narrate O. Henry's famous story, The Last Slave. Digital storytelling derives their power weaving images through photos and music. So I'll just share my screen.
Do you need some help, ma'am?
Probably Manju, you can share the story with me. Then I can present the screen.
I hope everybody can see it.
We are not able to see it, ma'am. You need to open this document or the video and then share screen. We can see only downloads of yours. We can see your computer.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I thought that.
Yeah, that is why we were just seeing the screen.
Just give me one. I'm so sorry. Just give me one.
So that is technology, Kristen ma'am.
Yeah,
Don't you think so?
Yes, that is technology. So we can get back to ma'am showing us. We can get a small feedback from Tony sir. Yes. Ma'am, you can share it in a last. Yeah, we just take a small feedback from Tony sir. The overall, you can just share, sir. How is the overall power?
So, Kristen ma'am, I just want to share that Tony sir is the father of storytelling. So his feedback, it really means a lot.
Yeah,
That how
Okay, the video is coming, I guess.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. But there's no sound, ma'am.
No sound.
Manjuri ma'am, there's no sound in it.
No sound?
No. You'll have to share with sound.
Share the sound. So sorry for the inconvenience. Just wait.
No problem, ma'am.
Very sorry for taking so much time.
No, it's okay. Technology, we all know.
Nice, huh?
Share sound you have to do, I think.
Okay. So sorry, I am unable to share the sound.
Okay,
No problem.
probably you can speak for it and show the video.
Well, I'm
Say it
feeling
in your
very
own.
sad, unable to share my screen. Just
9, 8.
क्या है ऐसे में स्टार्ट करना है फिर क्वेश्चन
Yeah, ma'am, you can share it.
Many artists lived in the Greenwich Village area of New York. Two young women named Sue and Johnsy
Or we could hear it and now it's gone. Okay, now it's come back.
Many artists lived in the Greenwich Village area of New York. Two young women named
Is it
Sue and
visible
Johnsy
now, ma'am?
shared a studio apartment at the top
Sound
of
is
a
there, but the video is not there.
In November, due to this disease, pneumonia.
The video is not there. The sound is proper, right? Probably you can share the video with me, then I can share it.
Yeah, you can keep.
Share कोई जैसे रचना मैम Anyway, I'm so sorry to take everyone's time. I'm really very
It's
bad.
fine. It's fine. That's what technology is all about.
Yes.
You don't need to be sorry. Technology has these glitches, and it's not something that you have planned. It's just happens. So don't worry about it. It's perfectly fine.
I just wanted, to means everyone to have a look at it. I just made it in a hurry today. So
You can play the audio. You can play the audio. That's fine.
Yeah, I'll give it to Rachna ma'am. I'll give it to Rachna ma'am if she can. Okay, so I'll just say that everything has been said by all the distinguished speakers. So I wanted to present this story, which was all about hope, hope during this time. So I prefer not to speak as all speak so much that already it's too late. And with the famous lines of Salman Rushdie, the famous writer, I would like to conclude here that those who do not have power over the story that dominate their lives, power to retell it, to rethink it, deconstruct it, joke about it, and change it as time change, truly are powerless because they cannot think new thoughts. So let us always create an emotional connection and understand deeply other people's thought, preserve culture, acknowledge the universal truths, and inspire people to bring about a positive change through the art of storytelling. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.
Indeed, incredible, ma'am. Thank you so much for this lovely, despite the glitches, you still carried your smile, your aura. There was never, a kind of, fear or anger, but that's what you are made of. Probably your inner core is very calm and patient. So good job. Don't worry about the glitches. We'll see your story later. Thank you.
I have sent it to Rachna ma'am. If you wish,
Yeah, I'm
then
just downloading it. I'll play it. In the meantime, we'll hear some feedbacks.
yes,
Till it is
surely,
We'll
sure.
hear some feedbacks of some very eminent storytellers, stalwarts, the founders of storytelling. Yes, so we hear from Sir Tony, and then we go on to the others. Ramendra sir.
I've enjoyed it so much. It's been a very good event, a very good festival, and worthwhile. I've sat here all the way through it, which is very rare for me to sit all the way through anything for about 3 hours. But it's all been about stories, so therefore I've enjoyed it a lot. And I've been happy to see Ramendra. Well done, Ramendra. I'm going to come to India just to see you, if anybody else. And well done, Shania. Professional as always, really, really good. I know your story yourself from being a smaller child. I know you're still young, but when you were younger, you were a storyteller on our radio program, and your mom and father, they really, really tell the story all about you. That's why you're doing so well. Your life as a whole story. And Manet, oh, that was so, how would you say the word? Professional, slick, really cool. It was perfect to listen to you. It was good. I liked all the presentations. I wished I could have kept some of those screenshots that you put up because they were nice quotes and nice things. I enjoyed watching that. And it's been a good event. It's been good to see you all and to meet you all. Some I've met before, others are brand new to me. And I'm hoping to meet you guys in London now that we can get about a lot more. And I've got my bus pass so I can travel anywhere in London for free now, since I'm a pensioner, so they say. I'm busier than ever. So I can get around London now, yeah, for free. It's expensive. Well, I'm happy to be in here. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having such a wonderful festival. Thank you all those people who've been on the show. You've been great. You really have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was nice to hear from you, sir. And it was really incredible, you sharing a lot. So Ramendra, you can share your feedback.
Yeah, if Tony is the father of storytelling, I'm the kid brother. So there's a word in Mary Poppins, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. That means wonderful, superb, awesome, amazing, incredible, terrific. And that's what the session has been. I told Rachna that I won't be able to sit through. But what I did was I took my mobile, switched off the video, and lay down and listened to every story. And each storyteller had something to add, something fantastic to add. Each of these moments have become memories for me. I would just like to tell you that the power of storytelling we have all been talking about. After seeing my video, a person wrote on Insta that his father was suffering from an arterial kind of complexity or disease. He couldn't get up. But after seeing my video, he started getting up and walking. Now tell me, how heartwarming is that? That is the power of storytelling. I would like to congratulate all of you and wish you all the very best. And let us have more such sessions and spread the word about the power of storytelling. Thank you.
So wonderful. And yes, you and I don't think you're the kid. I think you are you two can share, the fatherly, the brotherly position. I don't think kid, but brotherly position. The kids could be Shania and Manad, but I think you could be the brother of storytelling because you really inspire another brother to soar higher like an eagle. So that's incredible.
We need to be on the same stage at the same time. It would be wonderful.
Yeah. So we have Nada, ma'am. Yeah, I didn't hear you. We missed you because of I left and you joined, and so we missed. Yes, Nada.
Oh, yes. What to say? I'm really happy to be here today because this was I can say a grand success, a great festival of storytelling. Professor Tony, Ravendra, our great kids, Shania, Manat, Debbie, all And I want to congratulate Professor Rachana for your daughter. She was a great moderator, really doing great. Christina, amazing, like always. Our Dr. Raja, thank you for your great speech and for supporting always every event. Thank you. So I will also listen again all this because we have on YouTube and we can be free and each time listen again. Thank you very much for inviting me and for being here. I'm really honored and grateful. Big greetings from Croatia.
Yeah, Kristen ma'am, I think I can share the Manjari
Yeah.
story.
So we'll have the last
story.
The token of appreciation for everyone. So Rachna ma'am, we'd like to call upon Rachna ma'am to.
Yes, Kristen ma'am, should I share the story Manjari ma'am wanted to show?
Yeah, you can share it.
In the Greenwich Village area of New York, two young women named Sue and Johnsy shared a studio apartment at the top of a three-storied building. In November, due to this disease, pneumonia, many people died. Johnsy also lay on her bed and the doctor examined her, and he spoke to Sue in another room. She has one chance in, let us say 10, and that chance is for her to want to live. Your friend has made up her mind that she is not going to get well. Has she anything on her mind? She wanted to paint the Bay of Naples in Italy someday, said Sue. Well, I'll do that science can do, but whenever my patient begins to count the carriages at her funeral, I take away 50% from the curative power of medicines, the doctor said. After the doctor had gone, Sue went into the workroom and cried. Then she went to Johnson's room with her drawing board. Sue heard a low sound several times repeated. 9, 8, 7. What is it, dear? asked Sue. 6, said Johnsy quietly. They are falling faster now. 3 days ago, there were almost 100. And now only 5. 5 what, dear? asked Sue. Leaves on the plant. When the last one falls, I must go too. I have known that for 3 days. Didn't the doctor tell you? Oh, I never heard of such a thing, said Sue. What have old ivy leaves to do with your getting well? And you used to love that vine. Don't be silly. Why, the doctor told me this morning that your chances for getting well real soon were... Let's see exactly what he said. He said the chances were 10 to 1. Try to eat some soup now. And let me go back to my drawing so I can sell it to the magazine and buy food for us. You needn't get any more food. Look, the leaves, they are just 4. I want to see the last one fall before it gets dark. Then I'll go too. Johnsy, dear, said Sue, will you promise me to keep your eyes closed and not look out the window until I'm done working? I must hand those drawings in by tomorrow. Try to sleep. I must call Mr. Behrman up to be my model for my drawing of an old miner. Don't try to move until I come back. Old Behrman was a painter who lived on the ground floor of the apartment building. He earned a little money by serving as a model to artists who could not pay for a professional model. He was a fierce little old man. And Sue told him about Johnsy and how she feared that her friend would float away like a leaf. Old Behrman was angered at such an idea. Are there people in the world with the foolishness to die because leaves drop off a vine? This is not any place in which one so good as Miss Johnsy shall lie sick, yelled Behrman. She and Behrman went into the other room. They looked out of the window fearfully at the ivy vine. The next morning, Sue awoke after an hour's sleep. She found Johnsy with wide open eyes staring at the covered window. Pull up the shade. I want to see, she ordered quietly. Sue obeyed. After the beating rain and fierce wind that blew through the night, there yet stood against the wall one ivy leaf. It was the last one on the vine. It was still dark green at the center, but its edges were colored with the yellow. "It is the last one," said Johnsy. "I thought it would surely fall during the night. I heard the wind. It will fall today, and I shall die at the same time." "Dear, dear," said Sue. "Think of me if you don't think of yourself. What would I do without you?" But Johnsy did not answer. The next morning when it was light, Johnsy demanded that the window shade be raised. The ivy leaf was still there. And then she said to Sue, "I've been a bad girl. Something has made that last leaf stay there to show me how bad I was. It is wrong to want to die. Please give me some soup." An hour later she said, "Someday I hope to paint the Bay of Naples." Later in the day the doctor came and Sue talked to him in the hallway. "Well, I must see another case I have in your building. And Johnsy, she's quite well now. You know, this Behrman, his name is some kind of an artist, I believe. Pneumonia too. He's an old weak man and his case is severe. There is no hope for him. But he goes to the hospital today to ease his pain." The next day, the doctor said to Sue, "She is out of danger. You want nutrition and care now, that's all." Later that day, Sue came to the bed where Johnsy lay and put one arm around her. "I have something to tell you. Mr. Behrman died of pneumonia today in the hospital. He was sick only 2 days," Sue said. "They found him the morning of the first day in his room downstairs, helpless with pain. His shoes and clothing were completely wet and icy cold. They could not imagine where he had been on such a terrible night. And then they found the lantern still lighted. And then they found a ladder that had been moved from its place, and art supplies, and a painting board with green and yellow colors mixed on it. And look out the window, dear, at the last ivy leaf on the wall. Didn't you wonder why it never moved when the wind blew? Oh, darling, darling, it's Behrman's masterpiece. He painted it
On the night
that the last leaf fell."
Thank you. Well, that was the famous story of O. Henry. And thank you so much, Rachna ma'am, and to everyone for giving me this precious time, I narrated it soon, thinking that I won't be able to join in today as my aunt, she is in the hospital. She is very serious. She is a dementia patient. And I narrated it soon, thinking that at least I could at least come up with that story. And the story, it's very close, I think, to everyone's heart because it shows that a small act of love can also give hope and willpower to others who are suffering a lot. So thank you, everyone. Hope you liked it. And thank you for giving me this precious time of yours.
So well articulated, Manishri ma'am. Good job. So we'll have Rachna ma'am come to the concluding part of the program. It's been an impressive one, and thank you all for your patience, years, and time. So Rachna ma'am, all ready to appreciate. Ma'am, you're on mute, Rachna ma'am.
Yes. Thank you so much, Kristen ma'am. It was wonderful. Let's see a small token of appreciation for the International Fest.
clapping.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Incredible, incredible. So it was wonderful, and thank you everyone for your patient ears and lovely. It was an inspiring session. This is the first time I'm hosting a storytelling fest, an international storytelling fest. I wasn't sure, but thank you, Rachna ma'am, for being so patient with me and accommodating my shift in process. Thank you, all of you. I had a blast with you. I hope you too had a blast with me. And yes, Madhvi, yes, thank you. I know I'm amazing. If you like to share something about me being amazing, you can always give me a wave and give yourself a wave too. So, so that's nice. Let's end. You know, in India it's 10. So now we're going to end with a wave. Yeah. Next time I'm going to share my story. Next time. Next time when you have a fest, I'm going to anchor. I'm going to share story. Okay.
Surely, surely. We'll be waiting for that.
We'll be waiting. Let's do the wave like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Snap, snap, and wave. 1, 2, 3, 4. Snap. See, there's a lot of vibrations, positive energy when you do this. Your left brain and your right brain gets totally charged. It's 10 in the night and I've still got so much of energy. Being with so many kids around, it's because I'm not young, I'm older. So it's just the vibration of the left brain and right brain and the brain gym. Yeah. So let's do this every day and be charged up. So it was nice, and good night, good afternoon, good morning, and namaste from all of us. Rachna ma'am, are you playing the national anthem?
No, I just want to thank everyone on behalf. I don't want to make anyone stand right now. It's already late. So just a vote of thanks, little bit, adding on to it, because of your precious time, we could make this successful. It was not possible when Kristen ma'am, thanks from the bottom of my heart. I know you had a lot of other, your engagements too, but still you made it happen. The magic, that's the magic which I wanted because of your storytelling. And of course, Madhvi ma'am was there, and we keep on hosting
Thank you so much,
events.
ma'am.
It was really wonderful to have all of you together in one platform, and that was brilliant. Debbie ma'am, as usual, with her school and all her other activities, but still she made it. So thank you so much. It was really brilliant. And of course, we were live on India TV, and all the credit goes to Raja Rao. He was there half an hour before the session started. All the technical sides, he was handling it. And of course, we were live on our Facebook page, Creative Writing Modern Age. Thanks to everyone who joined from there, and brilliant support to everyone. Diana Valeros ma'am from US, it's early morning right now there, I hope, but still ma'am made it. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Anya, it was really amazing.
Thank you so much, Rachna.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it.
Yes, I know it's early morning, 7 o'clock.
Yeah. 6:30 a.m.
6:30. Oh my God.
Wow.
Oh.
Yeah, wonderful learning. It's wonderful, sharing their stories, sharing so much of learning. I've shared a song for you. If you're not playing the national anthem, we can play this.
Yes,
it's a beautiful thing. It's about we are unity.
Yes.
So you can play that, and we can end on that note because I
We
feel
share
just
that song.
yeah, I put it on WhatsApp so you can share it.
Yeah, I'll just do that.
Yeah, just share the audio and we'll reminisce that song. So I believe that this is the beginning, and I think we all can always have sessions like this, not with certificates, but always sessions to share stories, to learn from each other, and keep alive the story culture, because the story culture should never die.
Is the sound audible?
Yes, it's audible. You can play it.
I have a dream of what I wanna be. I wanna be free. That's what my heart keeps telling me. Give me your heart.
We'll find a way
Yes, people want
to feel the same.
if we help each other. I know we can succeed. We are one, but we are different. We from all around the world. We share the same sun, we share the same oceans. We are every boy and girl. Come together and share our dreams. We be amongst the stars, and we know that it's destiny. And we are unity. We are unity.
I do believe.
Beautiful.
Oh, I believe in destiny. It's up to me to make it into reality.
Give me your hand.
We'll find a way.
People out there,
Let's feel the same.
if we help each
other, I just know we can succeed.
we are one, but we are different. We from all around the world. We share the same sun, we share the same ocean. We are every boy and girl. Come together and share our dreams. We be amongst the stars, and we know that it's destiny. That we are unity. No matter where you're from or who you are, we can find a common place to be. That we are friends. We are one. We are different. We from all around the world. We share the same sun. We share the same ocean. Oh. We are one, we are different. We from all around the world. We share the same sun, we share the same ocean. We are every boy and girl. Come together and share our dreams. We be amongst the stars, and we know that it's destiny. That we are unity. We are unity.
Wow.
Beautiful.
That was amazing, Kristen ma'am. Thanks for sharing that song. Yes, we are unity. It was really wonderful, really wonderful. And that's the best way of ending the session. After so many eminent speakers across the globe talking about the power of storytelling, what best could have been by saying we are one.
Unity.
We are the unity. So thank you so much, everyone, Racheta, Ambassador Noor, and of course, Raja Rao from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much, sir, for bearing with us and being with us from the beginning till the end. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rachna
Thank
ma'am,
you.
for this beautiful thing, and thank you for, on the spot sharing that song. I thought this would be an act because we are all different. We are one. We are unity. We share the same sun, the ocean. We are different boy, girl, different country, but we are all unity, and that's the we like to end on this. So thank you so much. God bless you. Bye bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.